As we all know, the Vegas Golden Knights have already solidified their spot in the NHL playoffs, but I want to talk to you a little bit today about how soon we may know the seeding of the NHL playoffs and what the Vegas Golden Knights need to do to guarantee that #1 seed in the Western Conference as well as in the Pacific Division. So we're going to be covering all that in today's video, but let's not waste any more of your time. Let's go and get right into things. First things first, I want to take a look at the standings. Of course, currently the Vegas Golden Knights are sitting in first place in the Western Conference and in the Pacific Division. First, I want to just kind of take a gander at the Pacific Division because that's going to play a big part into it, because these teams are the closest teams to the Vegas Golden Knights at this current moment. Golden Knights 104 points. The closest team in the Central Division is with 98 points. Actually, all three of the top teams in the Central Division have 98 points, where all three of the top three teams have more than that in the Pacific. So we take a look here. Vegas Golden Knights 104 points. The Oilers 103 points, and the Kings have 100 points. Now, the Oilers have played one more game than both the Knights and the Kings, so you have to add, two more potential points in that regard. So Vegas has a game in hand. And all these teams are really, really good teams. They could definitely all win this division. And it seems like whoever wins the Pacific Division likely will win the entire Western Conference. Of course, with the Central Division all having 98 points at the top, it would take a little bit much for one of those teams to jump anyone in the Pacific Division, because you'd pretty much have to lose out in the Pacific and one of those teams would have to win out through these last four games here. But we take a look here: 104 points, 103 points, and 100 points. And the Vegas Golden Knights will be playing the LA Kings tonight. That could be a huge game, either create a little bit of a gap for the Vegas Golden Knights and get that lead up on the Oilers a little bit more with the same amount of games played, and get that lead on the Kings. But if you lose to the Kings, that could create even more of a tight, compact Pacific Division and could come down to the very last game. And speaking of the last game, I want to take a look at the games remaining for the Vegas Golden Knights. As mentioned, tonight, the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be going up against the LA Kings. Super, super tough matchup here. Vegas has a couple more wins than them. They're only 4 points ahead of the Kings. Kings are looking much, much better since the trade deadline, as well as Vegas Golden Knights. But the Vegas Golden Knights have seen a little bit of a stutter in these past couple of weeks here. I mean, they're beating the really good teams, which is a good sign for this matchup. I mean, you just beat the Wild back-to-back games, but you lose to the Predators, you lose to the Sharks, you lose to the Oilers, and the Oilers are good, but you lose to the Sharks, and you have the Predators loss. Those teams are not very good. The Sharks are one of the worst in the league. So hopefully it means you're going against Kings. You're going to put up that tough competition against the better team the way you already did against the Wild. But nonetheless, this is going to be an important matchup. You also have the Stars coming up. They're tied for the best spot in the Central Division. Really, really good team once again. And then you have the Kraken twice to end this season. Now, the Kraken are in the wildcard spot, but they are definitely a team that you can't take lightly, and that game could be the defining moment on where the Vegas Golden Knights land in seeding. It could make a huge, huge difference here. But how far can each of these teams, the Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Kings, go? What is the max number of points, and how soon could we know the seeding of each of these teams? Well, I've already measured that stuff out right here. If I can pull this up for you guys, I have a photo that's already clipped out. And like I said, the Central Division is a little bit farther back, so they're not as important in regards to how that stuff may play out. Now, if I can enlarge this here, as you can see, hopefully you guys can see this and, zoom out a little bit. You should be good. I want to make sure you can see it. Okay, Vegas Golden Knights 1, Edmonton 2, Kings 3, of course, 78 games, 79 games, 78 games, 104, 103, 100. Now, with 4 games remaining for the Vegas Golden Knights, they could total another 8 points. That would put them at 112 points. Of course, that's going to give you a 3-point lead on, you already have a 1-point lead right now, and you could have a 3-point lead on the Oilers once you play the same amount of games, depending on how this plays out. So, we got 112 as potential for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Oilers have 3 games left. That means they can have a total of 6 more points. 109 is going to be the total that they could have. You have the Kings, and they have 4 games left. Their max total could be 108 points. So as you can see right there, it's really, really tough competition right here. Vegas would have a 3 if and I guess this is impossible, but Vegas could have a 3 lead on the Edmonton Oilers and a 4 lead on the Kings. But, of course, something really, really important here. You take a look at this. Golden Knights already have 104. The max for the Kings is 108. So if the Vegas Golden Knights were to win 2 more games, then you're already guaranteed a spot above the Kings. No matter what the Kings do, even if the Kings win out, you're going to have that lead. And if the Vegas Golden Knights win tonight's game, that means that they're already at 106, and that means the Kings' max total is 106. Now, I'm not sure, I don't really remember how the series has went, although I think if Vegas wins, it's a 2-2 series, and then Vegas is going to win the regulation wins category and all that. So if Vegas wins tonight and beating the Kings in that regard, Vegas is already guaranteed to be above the Kings, at least a 1 or 2 seed. Now you take a look at the Edmonton Oilers here. If Vegas is to win tonight, they're now at 106. You got a little bit of a lead right here, and you got the last 3 games right there. And the Oilers, max is 109. They have to win every single game, and they can get 109. The Vegas Golden Knights would have 106. They would need to win 2 minimum. Well, no, actually, the most they would have to win if the Oilers win out would be 2 games, because that would move you to 110 points if you beat the Kings. So Vegas, at max, has to win 3 of these last 4 games. At maximum, that's what they have to win. If the Oilers drop a game right here, that makes it a little bit easier. If they drop 2 games, there's a chance that if you jump back over here to the standings, or to the schedule, there's a chance that if Vegas beats the Kings and the Oilers drop a game here, their next game, whenever that may be, that puts Vegas to 106. That leaves Edmonton at 103. Edmonton now only has 2 games left at that current moment. 103. Say they win both of those. 105, 107. That means all Vegas would have to do through the last 3 could be beat the Kings and go to overtime with the Stars, and you're already guaranteed a spot. So by this Saturday, we could already know if Vegas Golden Knights are the guaranteed 1 seed in the Pacific Division. Now, if we actually stop here and take a look at the standings once again, I do want to stop and look at the Central Division. How soon can we know in this regard? They do have a couple extra games here. The Wild are at 77, Stars are at 77, and the Avalanche are at 76. Avalanche have a good chunk of games left, 6. That means they could get a total of 12 more points. With 98, 12 more points would put them at 110. So they're pretty close to the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights lose another game here, and the Avalanche win out. The Avalanche could be the number 1 seed. Now, for the rest of these guys here, their max is going to be 108 because the Stars and the Wild have 77 games so far. That puts them at 5 games remaining. Of course, 2 points potential each game, 10. So their max is 108 for the Stars and the Wild. And you do play the Stars, so you could already lower that number immediately. And the Avalanche, Avalanche are the only real worry in the Central Division unless Vegas bombs these last 4 games here. So, Vegas Golden Knights, they have full control right now. Honestly speaking, they already have a lead, even on the Oilers, who have already played an extra game. You're in a great spot. By Saturday, you could guarantee that 1 seed in the Pacific Division, and maybe even the entire Western Conference. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? Will the Vegas Golden Knights end at the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and how soon do you think that will happen? Comment all that down below. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. It truly means the world to me. And as always, I hope to touch them today. Hope it made a smile, because that's something really important to me. Affects someone's day in a great way, because every single day can be a great day if you all just put in the effort. And, of course, as always, you guys all be safe out there.